let's hop into this Gene Simmons interview reaction. So this is day 2 of me going back and really looking at some throwback videos. I guess a career retrospective, so to speak, of interviews that I've done in the past and some of the interview opportunities that really brought me to where I am today. And of course, one of the interviews that we have to look at if we're talking about this is my conversation with Gene Simmons. So just to take you guys back a little bit for some context to this interview happened in September of 2017, but I had been trying to make this interview happen since roughly 2008. If anybody doesn't know, we're going to take it way, way back. When I first started podcasting, when I first started doing this, I began a podcast called Creatures of the Net, which was strictly about the band KISS. And all I did on my show was cover KISS. It was like a fan show. As a young kid, I was about 10 years old. And one of the main reasons I wanted to do this, and a reason that eventually pushed me into doing this in the first place, the whole podcasting streaming thing, was the fact that I wanted to eventually interview and connect with some of the people I looked up to, people like, say, a Gene Simmons. I always loved the idea that you could build yourself up enough in this line of work to eventually sit down and have those conversations with the people who were on posters in your walls, have those conversations with people that you would fantasize about. Everybody has superheroes in this world. Everybody has people that they look up to. And, just the idea that I could get some of those questions answered from those people was really the main reason that I started doing this in the first place. So 2008, I'm on this pursuit. We came really, really close a bunch of times, met Gene a bunch of times before this, which a lot of people don't know too. I met Gene a bunch of times before this, but never got the interview. 2017, he was finally coming to my town to do a solo appearance at a convention. And I reached out to my KISS connections and I said, look, just going out on a whim here, is there any chance Gene, since he's in town for a couple of days, might be able to sit down and connect with me for this interview? So what they did here, which made the difference, is they actually forwarded my message directly to Gene Simmons. So he was able to see my email personally and really feel what I had to say. Most of the time when you request an interview like this from somebody, they will decide. They won't even pass the request to the artist to let them decide. They will basically act as a gatekeeper for that person. In this case, the person sent my message to Gene Simmons, to which he personally responded saying, sure, happy to say hello there. I'll never forget the quote. So now this is almost a decade after I've been trying to get this interview, and I am tasked with going to do it. So I set up a camera guy. To come down and film this interview. And lo and behold, guys, the day that we were supposed to do this interview, probably 2 hours before I was actually supposed to meet with Gene, my camera guy contacts me and says he has to cancel. So I had it all planned out to have this professionally taped. The guy was going to come, he was going to film me, and I was going to focus on doing this interview. Lo and behold, like I said, right before I'm supposed to do it, this guy cancels. So I am now tasked with doing this interview on my own. So that's why you see the one camera angle, and that's why you see me with this microphone, which ended up sounding absolutely fucking god-awful, by the way. When we hear this interview, you're going to hear how bad the mic actually sounds, because this mic was not supposed to be used in the way in which it was used. This is a far range microphone, not a close range microphone. So long story short, camera guy cancels. I'm supposed to go do this on my own, and this is what happened. So it did turn out, look, for the circumstances, I think it turned out incredibly well. And we're going to go ahead and play some of this now. So this is my interview with Gene Simmons of KISS.
Hey, Mr. Gene Simmons, how you doing, sir?
Well, now that I'm next to you, I'm deliriously happy.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. You can hold the microphone. I like this.
I will.
Awesome. So let's get straight to it. I saw the show last night. You were very interactive with your fans, bringing them on stage, made my dream come true. What made it so important to you to be interactive with the fans at this stage in your career?
After 44 years of being up on stage,
First rookie mistake, by the way, letting him hold the microphone. That was the only mistake I think I made up until this point. I'm watching. I'm like, okay, the intro came off pretty good. Didn't seem too nervous, I don't think. But I should have never let him hold that microphone because we would have had such better sound quality. Again, it works. It works. This is a moment in time, but this is the behind the scenes commentary.
and having the fans down there, I've got some free time. I never thought about doing a solo band, but it just kind of happened, and we're having a lot of fun. There's no heavy-handed message. We have fun up there, and we want to make sure the fans have fun. Nothing more.
Absolutely. What was your favorite part about being back on stage with Ace Frehley? Is there any chance of rekindling that relationship?
Well, you know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So I think a lot of people were confused about what happened at this point here. So completely out of nowhere, because Gene is like super hyper vigilant, so he has this weird thing where he can notice everything that's going on around him. He's incredibly sensitive to it. So there was somebody talking on the outside of this curtain here, because we're behind the curtain at a fan expo. So there was all kinds of people behind this curtain. He opens up the curtain and tells the woman to shush in the middle of my question, and then shuts it again. So let's take a look at it now that we know what he did.
Well, you know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I don't know how he heard it. He goes, shh.
Thank you.
And then he comes back. So at this point, guys, I remember I thought Gene was going to walk out. I thought Gene was walking out because I asked him a question about Ace Frehley, of course, his former bandmate, right? So at that point, I thought he was going to walk out of this interview. I was like, I maybe offended him or something like that. He just opened it to shush that woman.
Is it rekindling that relationship?
Well, you know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I was
totally
like, I
agree
blew
with
it.
that.
See? He's gone. And then he came back.
Thank you.
Ace has been in and out of the band 3 different times. That's enough.
Yeah, I agree. Looking back at the 70s classic rock albums, what's your favorite album cover of all time?
Oh, I don't know, Sgt. Pepper?
Would you say the Beatles is the greatest band ever?
Yes.
Which country would you say is the most loyal as KISS Army fans?
It's difficult to say because we do well everywhere. The Japanese are nuts, the South Americans.
He's like, listen, bro, we're popping off, okay? He's like, it doesn't matter what part of the world we play, we're popping off. I just remember at this point, this is when I started to get nervous. And I think you can kind of see it. It's like the initial shock was wearing off, and then I'm actually standing here having this conversation with Gene. This is where I started to get actually super nervous. Like, to the point where I wasn't even sure where to go with it.
Americans are nuts, the Scandinavians are nuts, pretty much anywhere.
Absolutely. Do you feel that...
You have to stop saying absolutely.
I'm sorry, I'm a...
There, see? So he called me out. He called me out for saying absolutely.
That's pretty much anywhere.
Absolutely. Do you feel that...
You have to stop saying absolutely.
I'm sorry, I'm a little starstruck being in your presence.
Me too. You're doing a podcast. You're that guy.
So that was an incredibly... that was a valuable moment for me because I like the fact that he was giving me a little bit of coaching as I was doing it. And that's one thing that especially a guy in his position who's seen so much success is going to do. He's going to give you props on the places that you're performing well. But also he's going to try to give you a little pointer. And I do think that was great. I was saying absolutely way too goddamn much. You can't just sit there and tell a guy everything he's doing is perfect.
Thank you very much. What is the most legendary milestone of the KISS legacy for you?
To be alive another day and get to live it, because the past doesn't count.
Yeah. How long do you see it going for?
That doesn't matter either. You want to keep it honest and not stay on stage longer. Then it's legitimate and honest. I mean, you invite somebody over to your home and you're glad to see them, but if they overstay their welcome, you can't wait for them to leave, right?
Right.
You don't want to stay there too long.
No doubt. And to clarify something about your vault box.
Now this is where it goes left, ladies and gentlemen. This is where it goes left. So I called him out about the box set. I know most people have seen this clip. For context, there was a box set that was being marketed online from Gene Simmons that was saying it was a $10,000 box set. That was the big news story at that time when I went to interview Gene, that he had this $10,000 box set. And Gene came out right before we did this interview and released a statement basically saying there is no $10,000 box set. But what happened was, after he made that statement, people checked his website and they saw the fact that there was a $10,000 box set for sale still then on his website. So that's what I tell him right here. I say, Gene, you told us there's no $10,000 box set. We actually checked and we found that there is. And he was not expecting this question whatsoever.
I mean, you invite somebody to welcome, you can't wait for them to leave, right?
Right.
You don't want to stay there too long.
No doubt. And to clarify something about your Vault box set, you said that the price was not $50,000, right? And then we checked the website and it said that it was $50,000.
That's incorrect.
It was $50,000, not $10,000. Excuse me.
Site and it said that it was $50,000.
That's incorrect.
It's incorrect?
Bring it up on your cell phone and show us you know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Most definitely.
It was at this moment he knew he fucked up. You understand me? Gene said, motherfucker, pull that up on your phone. You're going to sit here and tell me, pull that up on your phone. Show us you know what you're talking about. And by the way, my phone was at like 1% here, so I was sweating bullets to pull this shit up. I knew if I couldn't produce this, it would be the end of me. Look at this dude's face. This dude is like, okay, motherfucker, I gave you this interview. I'm standing here answering your questions. You're a young guy. And you're going to challenge me like that? He's like, you're going to challenge me like that on camera like this. Dude was pissed. He was ready to end me if I wouldn't have pulled this up.
A great experience for the Gene Simmons fans.
Go to GeneSimmonsVault.com. Read the very first line.
Oh, here we go.
Did you just go into fake news?
No.
Fake news.
All right.
This is it. That's you.
Yeah. Okay, continue to Gene Simmons.
And
He
which
was
one?
so pissed, bro.
Yeah, this is old. Hold on a second.
Sure.
And then he saw that exactly what I was telling him was true. He was still advertising the $50,000 box set. This is what I'm saying. I do my research, Gene.
Clarification with Gene Simmons.
I know what I'm talking about.
Did you refresh this page or is this old?
This is brand new.
Yeah. Then you help me get our guys because they've been asleep at the wheel.
Right.
So I'm going to email them now.
Okay.
The
I don't want to get
email.
anybody fired here, Gene.
Oh, I will.
Okay, yeah, that's your job.
Yeah.
Did you fire the sound guy last night?
Yes.
You did.
Sure.
Well deserved.
Yeah, so I saw his concert the night before, and that's why I asked him, did you fire the sound guy from the night before? Because Gene was on a firing spree during this weekend. He literally fired the tech guy the night before because he was fucking up. That's one thing about Gene. He is not going to take your shit. He is a nice man, as you can even see in this encounter. Gene is a great man. But don't fuck with him. Never take his kindness as weakness because he will chop your goddamn head off. He will get you.
So I'm going to email them now.
Okay. I don't want to get anybody fired here, Gene.
Oh, I will.
Okay, yeah, that's your job.
Yeah.
Did you fire the sound guy last night?
Yes.
You did.
Sure.
Well deserved. And Gene is actually emailing his people right now to get this clarified. That's a true businessman at work right there.
Holy fuck, guys, period. People still believe this is a $50,000 box set, period. And that's because of your front page, period. Again, get rid of producer and home experience off the front page. For fuck's sake, period.
That is amazing. We got this exclusive. So for $2,000, you're going to fly to the fan's house.
Yeah, all people need to do is, if they want it, there's only a few thousand.
So I gave him a nice
Largest box set of
infomercial
all
after
time
that.
is $2,000.
See, I gave him a
Wherever they are
nice
in the
little
world,
spot.
I will fly to them, my cost,
So there you go, guys.
on the world, hand delivering the box sets.
Beautiful. That's such a great thing for the fans. I thank you so much for your time. In closing, I just want to know what makes Gene Simmons the ultimate ladies' man, and how can the fans out
Oh
there
no,
in the
I
KISS
forgot about this question. Not the ultimate ladies man. Bro, this is not the ultimate ladies man asking this question.
I just want to know what makes Gene Simmons the ultimate ladies' man, and how can the fans out there in the KISS Army become ladies' men?
There are no ultimate ladies' men. There's only the nearest girl who you find desirable, and it's your job to let her know that you find her desirable.
That's right.
The rest will take care of itself.
Your assistants are quite cute, I gotta say.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Yeah, there's that. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Absolute pleasure. Rock on. Thank you.
Oh my God, bro. I can't believe I asked him that. Round of applause for Gene Simmons, ladies and gentlemen. Uncle Gene. Wow. What a guy. You know what, man? This is such a trip because, again, guys, I told you, this is not something that I do. Like, you would never catch me watching one of my own videos, and I haven't watched any of these videos since they were released. So to sit and look at them now, it gives me such perspective. But like I said while looking at this, Gene gave me probably the most valuable lesson I could have ever had. And it's the fact that he's not going to sit there and bullshit, and neither should I. That is really what I got out of this interview. It was about being 100% transparent, just dropping any crap that you could have in terms of talking to another person and keeping it 100% legit and upfront. And yeah, man, you know what? It's incredible that he actually gave me the opportunity.